Hey guys, Jessica here. So today we're going to answer one of the top questions about franchising and that is, does franchising change over time? And the answer is absolutely overwhelmingly yes. So we often see people that come through and say things like, well, I was a 17 with my last baby. I was a 21 my entire journey. I used a 24 the entire time. That just means that's what you used. It doesn't mean that that was what size was optimized for you. It doesn't mean that that was the best fit for you. You may not have seen negative impacts to your journey because you may be somebody who has a really generous milk supply. You may have gotten lucky. You may not have been a pump dependent parent. The more pump dependent you are, which means the more your supply is reliant on a pump, the less likely you are to be able to get away with that. But it doesn't mean that everybody's going to see the impact of bad franchising. Sometimes there are other things that are supporting the session working. Sometimes we also just get lucky. There are lots of things that I did with my first two babies that I could not have gotten away with my third because the further you are into your parenting journey, the more babies you've had, the more elastic tissue tends to get, the less forgiving the tissue tends to get. So the same flanges that worked well enough with my first, they were never optimized, and they were definitely not optimized for my second, but that was what, no one had ever said franchising changes. And we didn't have inserts on the market smaller than that. I was really excited when I saw that they made inserts below 21 because when I had my first two babies, below 21 really didn't exist on the market. I think Spectra had a 20, but a 20 and a 21 is, I mean, it's functionally the same thing. So the fact that I needed a 17 really did mean that there wasn't anything better for me on the market than the terrible size I was already using. So just we made do. But franchising does change over time, and it changes on a somewhat predictable schedule for most people. Most people are going to see their nipple size grows at the end of pregnancy. It kind of stabilizes. We hit our largest point immediately postpartum, and then it goes steadily down. For most people, this is a very gradual process, particularly for moms who are pumping and nursing, on a normal routine biological schedule, which is 8 or more times a day. So that milk supply is still nice and strong. We see that the size kind of comes down gradually over time as the milk supply settles, the hormones settle. For some people, it does change a little bit more rapidly. So I have had some moms we see lots of changes. It feels like every week the franchise that was optimized last week, it now needs to come down a little bit. And it's like this for 6 to 12 weeks, and then it stabilizes and it never changes again for their 2 year journey. Uh, a lot of moms don't pump longer than 6 months, though. We don't see a ton of pumping moms who are pumping longer than 6 months. In my practice, we see a higher than average number of that because we are very pumping focused. We're very pumping friendly. And we can often help moms come up with a sustainable plan because we don't reject wearable technology. We don't reject pumps that are considered secondary pumps. We figure out how to make them work for us. So we see a lot of moms who pump for a lot longer. So we do see that there is, a fairly dramatic change in nipple size over time. Most moms will start out on the higher end of what's considered normal and will drop down over time. As you wean, we'll often see a very rapid change as the hormones settle out, but franchising absolutely changes over time. So my general rule is if you are having issues and they could be related to franchise, if we even think they possibly are related to franchise, we should always just recheck and make sure because it does change over time. And you want to be consistently using the franchise that is most optimized for your setup. One, to protect your nipple health, two, to protect your milk supply, and three, to protect your pump because bad franchising kills pumps on the regular. And pumps are too expensive to just be out here abusing them with the wrong franchise. So hopefully that helps. If you need support with this, please feel free to come in. We are always happy to help, even with just a simple franchising. We use a very consistent, proven method to help you get the answers you need. So hopefully that helps, and happy pumping.